it on all right? Check, check. 1, 2. Is it on? Talk again, talk it again. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone in the fellowship hall. Good morning. Say it again really loud to get them in here.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Chattanooga. I am the Reverend Mandy Goheen. My pronouns are she, her. It is my delight to serve this chilly church. I'm a little chilly today. We're chilling. Just so you know, if you have a youngin' with you today, there is no heat downstairs, but we're making do. They're still going to have fun and bundle up and huddle together. So we're getting the heat worked on. That's one thing. Another thing, if you've never been here before, I want you to see that the exits are right here and at the back of the church. And if you need a bathroom, on your way out, the bathrooms are to the left down the hall. So just so you know your way around in case of an emergency of any kind. The Unitarian Universalist Church of Chattanooga has been around for a while. In the 50s, during the fellowship movement, we officially became a place that is chartered, but we had many iterations before that. And in all of those places, when we gathered together, we did something pretty special and pretty Unitarian Universalist, which is light a chalice to mark our time together. And I'd like to invite the Reverend Pam Johnson up, our community minister, to light our chalice as we read the chalice lighting words. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we have to seek, to sustain, and to share. Thank you, Pam. So, I want to say welcome again since everybody's kind of in here now. Welcome to this place. Welcome to today. We're going to be talking a lot about food today. We have a guest here for our Donate the Plate, the Chattanooga Area Food Bank. I have created a little game show for us to explore the cost of food. And we're going to be thinking throughout the day about what it feels to be food secure, food insecure, or someplace in between, and what we can do about that for Chattanooga as a collective. In the beginning of our services, we rise in body or spirit and greet our neighbors as we get ready to sing our opening song. Our opening song is number 1023, Building Bridges. So I invite you to rise if that's your jam. If you're kind of shy, you can sit. Rise in spirit or body and greet your neighbors.
We'll be singing around Building Bridges 1023, and we're gonna sing it 3 times through. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of of our voices and all of our visions, friends who could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
Please be seated. Oh no! Who knows who this is? Bob Barker. Come on down. Who knows what Bob Barker might be famous for? Price is Right. Yes, but listen to what else. He is called the patron saint of sick days for children.
Yep.
Look, he has a halo behind his head. Oh my gosh. I knew I would forget my prop from my purse. Will you get my prop? Okay. So we're going to talk about The Price is Wrong. And this is our time for all ages, but I encourage you to get with your family so you can share brain power. Also, to play this game, you need to find someone who has an order of service if you don't already. The front is part of the game. Pencils? Anybody need a pencil? Oh, look, pencils. Thank you. So The Price is Right is on the air still. And it is one of the ways that people knew the prices of groceries in the United States. And what Bob Barker said after hosting that show for many, many years is people didn't know how much groceries cost. So I'm depending on none of you to know today how much groceries cost. And I don't have a prize other than this is fun. So I'm going to start out with a story about this as we're passing out pencils. This is a Publix receipt. Oh, I heard a ooh, ooh. I'm going to give you some facts about this receipt so we can guess a few things together. I want to give you the context of this receipt. It's like a math problem, right? How much did the Goheens spend on groceries this week? At Publix, Dad and two teenagers shopped at Publix, shopping for 7 people, 3 teens, 2 young adults, and 2 parents. No eggs were purchased. My chickens supply that. And very little meat because we grew up farmers and our freezers are full of meat. Yes, the other way around. Yeah. We bought 4 COVID tests because it is 2024. Dog food, cat food, toiletries, over-the-counter meds. Pantry and fridge were completely empty. And here's why. We grew up in West Virginia and Ohio, and if it's snowing, we don't care, so we don't know to go out and get the food before y'all panic and get everything out of the grocery store. So I want to add that. The grocery store was a little bare, okay? We cook at home most nights except Fridays. Who now has a guess about what the total, and you can write on your sheet first. We don't want to shout it out yet. Who has a guess how much these groceries cost my family? You all be thinking about this too. You are the ones that help pick all this stuff out at my house. So, how much do you think this costs?
I missed a little point. Did you restock the fridge and the pantry on this trip?
Yes. There was flour purchased. Good question.
Thank you.
There was flour and butter and dog food. Like, we were out of stuff. Good clarification. All right, are you ready? Can I get a drum roll? obviously. We get a family size of Life cereal. Oh, what was your guess? I wanted to know.
I said 749.
Whoa! That is impressive. Okay, so you get to think about this too, and you get to tell us your answer first. But people can shout advice to him about your guesses, and we'll see how accurate he is. I want to say this is a family-sized Life cereal, blueberry, Thomas bagels, and Earth Balance, whatever that is, with no dairy or soys or anything in it that we eat because we're all allergic to something in my family.
Was it a BOGO on the
On which thing?
bagels?
The bagels. Was it a BOGO, Andre?
I don't remember.
No, you don't remember? Oh, probably.
Oh, no.
No, that's a great question. Tax. Oh, let's forget about tax. Do you want to know how much the dog food costs?
No.
$50. COVID tests. Who knows how much COVID tests cost?
At least 10.
$9.99. That's a bad place to sit at church. You get sun in your eye. Are you ready yet? Does anyone want to shout any advice out as enough?
15.
Meow. 13 for the Earth Balance.
Oh, no, 13 total.
I'm teasing. Okay. Are you ready? We'll see. He's still calculating. You ready? Let's see how you did. I don't shop at Publix. Thank you. But I do.
I think this is the week before a BOGO.
The week before the BOGO. I like it. So how close did you get?
My total was $17.
$17 total. And how much did you guess on each item?
I guess $6 for the cereal, $3.50 for the bagels, and $7.50 for the butter.
That butter's something else right there. Yes. Thank you for playing. Can we get a big round of applause? Now the last round, just for fun. How many episodes of The Price is Right did Bob Barker host between 1972 and 2007?
I don't know.
Me neither. 7,000 something? Okay. 500. All right. I knew there were math people in this room.
1,000.
1,000. Okay. I'm going to give you a hint. 1,001. 1,001.99 cents. Are you ready? Wow, 6,586 episodes. And as Bob Barker would say at the conclusion of every episode, spay and neuter your pets. And now it's time for religious education. Please join me in singing The Children Downstairs. My point was to illustrate food security and what that looks like throughout the rest of this conversation today. And my point also is this was not always a place where my family was pretty secure. We are good at cooking beans, y'all, and we lived off of WIC and even made our own yogurt for a while off of, So we're pretty good at growing stuff and pretty good at supplementing what we're eating. Andre makes bread a couple times a week, so I think that even with this may not even have been accurate about how much money went into food for our family in a week. So that seems like a good segue into our time where we share joys and concerns and we come up and light a candle. And I was we're going to talk about stages of faith today, and I was wondering why people needed the process of coming forward to light a candle, especially in a room full of probably 50-50 skeptics like this. So what is it about lighting a candle that helps us in our week? And it's the ritual and the externalization of that thing. So when you light a candle that represents your joys or concerns, you're placing that flame in this community, and you're giving yourself a space outside to process it. So in doing that, that's a very analytical reason, and we're being a little analytical and thinking about psychology today, so I wanted to lift that up. But for me, the most important thing about people coming and lighting candles is the chance to smile at somebody who might be sad. The fact that they are brave enough for others to see who got up and might not have had the best week or who might have had the best week. It's a way to let go of something hard or joyful or in between into this community. And Reverend Pam, can you come up with me and help? I invite you forward to light a candle for whatever thing you need to process today or just what's on your mind. Please join me in a time of reflection on our bellies for a minute. I invite you to put your hands here and feel your breathing. You don't have to do anything I ask, just for the record. It's all consensual. Breathing, feel the life going up and down. Feel yourself centered. Welcome in the feeling of just drinking a big gulp of warm soup. Feel it flow down and feel the comfort that favorite warm soup brings. to your belly on a cold day. Feel the nourishment coursing through you. Your body's miraculous mechanism for processing food and keeping you strong and alive is quite miraculous and scientific. As you think of that warm feeling flowing down into you, think about the people you love around you and how they nourish you and give you the strength to keep going. Think about this place that nourishes you, mind, body, and spirit, that holds you with a feeling of warm soup in your belly, even on the hardest day. May it be so, and amen.
When the snow begins to coat the ground and the world begins to change, there's revealed a moment so profound that it stops me and I'm amazed. Everywhere I look, it's a storybook, and it feels so pure and true. It feels new.
Gone away beneath the cloak of white was a scene of winter gray. Now this place aglow with peace and light fills my heart with joy again. Everywhere I look, it's a storybook, and it feels so pure and true. It feels new.
Just like a melody I've never heard before.
It feels new, just like the breaking of the dawn in early morning. It feels new, just like a second chance, a time to make up for the past. There's hope in this new world I see, and changing right in front of me.
Everywhere I look, it's a storybook, and it feels so pure and true. It feels new. It feels new.
Those two words in the same slide. Evolution and faith. Tell me another place that talks about that. I was pretty excited to talk about the idea of evolution and why we might believe what we do. Why might it be part of our survival instincts to be part of a religious organization or have something we do or don't call faith? As you see in the picture, evolution and emergence can look like a flower coming from a seed into full bloom. I think the part that's not on there is the withering of the flower. All pictures and all thoughts are incomplete. And I want to remind you, in a spirit of not being too tricky, that I may or may not agree with everything I'm about to say. Question everything, right? Thank you. So if you look up faith on Wikipedia, as I do to start many of my sermons, not the word faith, but a word, you will find a guy named James Fowler. And why James Fowler is particularly interesting to me is his work was used in a Unitarian Universalist curriculum that was taught by the Reverend Jack Young, who used to be here. He's the guy with the white stole back there. And I was in his class, but not here in Virginia. And he's the one that introduced me to the stages of faith by Fowler. Now, Fowler defines faith as an activity of trusting, committing, and relating to the world based on a set of assumptions of how one is related to others and the world. Did you see the G word in there? We say the G word sometimes about God around here because we get wiggly, or I do. But the word God is not in that. Is that surprising to anyone? Who thought the word faith might belong to a specifically Christian religious context? Who thinks of it in that way? Good, no raising hands. Perfect. We're questioning, right? You see the skepticism already getting here. I see it. So Fowler looked at the way human beings go through the stages of development, the way we change throughout our lives. And he used those stages of development to identify how people might believe in those stages. This is a fancy, big chart. It's hard to explain. There's a lot of different parts. And so I want to go through some of these stages, and I want you to remain skeptical, and I want you to think about, as I talk about this, does this apply to Unitarian Universalism? Okay? Unitarian Universalism is a place where we are given the tools of how to believe, but not told what to believe. So in that, let's go through these. So stage 1, there's babies under 2. They're important. It's actually probably one of the most important stages in your life. It is the stage when you are attaching to someone. And sometimes, and this probably wouldn't surprise you, that when parental figures may be less than trustworthy or caregivers, there can be an extreme attachment to God. Make sense? Generally, children have the potential for faith, but lack the ability to act on that potential. They're 2, okay. Through loving care for parents and adults in their young life, children start to build a lived experience of trust, courage, hope, and love. At this stage, children experience faith as a connection between themselves and that caregiver. Intuitive projective faith comes next, generally preschool-aged children. It's not a thought-out set of ideas. Instead, it's like their impressions of the world, largely gained from their parents and their surroundings and significant adults in their lives. I think back to being Catholic and the importance of a godparent. And I think about this stage and the importance of like a spiritual parent outside of your biological or whoever parents that are caregiving. That's kind of their role to like guide you and like help you through that. My godparents are still very special to me today, even though I don't buy a thing that happened at that baptism. So it's not a thought-out set of ideas. Your heart could get broken in this stage pretty easily about religion, and you could get scared by it. It's part of that stage of life. We are scared by things, and then the next thing we move into as we are 6 to 12-year-olds is mythical literal faith, Now, I want to say something about stage 2. Some people don't ever go any further than this stage. So, this is from here on out can be where you stop. Later in the stage, they begin to have the capacity to understand that others might have different beliefs than them. Later in this stage, some people never get here. Okay. And then we have synthetic conventional faith, 13 to 18. But this is one that people really get stuck in. Unlike the previous stages, people are able to think abstractly. What were once simple, unrelated stories and rituals can now be seen as more cohesive narrative about values and morals. With abstract thinking comes the ability to see layers of meaning in the stories, rituals, and symbols of their faith. If they allow themselves, they begin to see people's perspectives besides their own. They can claim their faith as their own during this stage instead of just being part of a church. So this individuative reflective faith, 18 to 22-year-olds. Ooh, do you remember being 18 to 22? Some of you still are, I know. So there's a point. People of many generations experience the kind of dissonance that comes with the real question of faith that one begins to address at this stage of development. So even though we're talking about ages and stages and generational differences, this is kind of a solid stage for many people. This is the time when people leave their church. This is the time when they come to their own conclusions about what they believe. And this is the time where doing theological gymnastics no longer seems fun. Conjunctive faith. And I want to start to caution you about the next two, because they're pretty awesome. They're the ones that Unitarian Universalists assume we're in. Ready? People do not usually get to this stage until their early 30s. This stage is when the struggle and questioning of the stage 4 gives way to a more comfortable place. This is like post-dark night of the soul, sort of like after you've had your theological angst and you've figured out what's next. Remember a while back I talked about dark night of the soul isn't a psychological thing. It is an actual spiritual experience of dryness and not quite knowing if anything is what you thought it was. And then the cool thing about the next stage is you don't care anymore. You're okay with not knowing all the answers. Look, I see some nodding. Yes, I'm a Unitarian Universalist. Yes, I see some nodding back there. Yes. So the last stage is the one we love to think we're in the most. This is the one I would like to think I'm in, but I'm not that fancy. Universalizing faith. It says, first off, Fowler's first thing to say is, it is the rare person who reaches this stage. Anyway, kidding. James Fowler describes people at this stage as having special grace that makes them seem more lucid, more simple, yet somehow fully human. Can you see getting caught up in the hubris of all that? Okay. People at this stage cherish life, but also do not hold on to life too tightly. They put their faith in action, challenging the status quo and working to create justice in the world. It comes naturally. Robert Keeley points out, and he's another one of the thinkers that was working with Fowler, that Gandhi and Mother Teresa are examples of these people. Reverend Mandy is not as much as she would like to think. She has all these qualities. We have, I think, in these stages, and here's where we get to the part where I start talking about Unitarian Universalism, I think that if you are here, you probably were a little bit further along in the stages anyway. I think if this place appeals to you, if you didn't grow up in Unitarian Universalism, that you might already be stage 2, 3, 4, you may be on this trajectory. It is normal for people to show up in Unitarian Universalism during that dark night of the soul. That time when we don't know what we believe, but we know we believe something and we need a place to be. There are 4 kinds of people who show up during that period in varying stages. There are the people that are longtime members. There are people who are committed friends, not quite wannabe members. There are visitors who just truck through. There are visitors that come back for a cycle. And then there are people that are really curious but don't quite get what's going on, so don't feel like they fit in. When we're speaking in Unitarian Universalism, we love an acronym. We love to feel a little superior, a little bit more intellectually and philosophically and blah, blah, blah advanced. That can be really intimidating to people, especially if they think they know the answers for sure. It can be really hard. Sometimes we have to soften where we come from and simplify in order to communicate. Did you hear what I said earlier? I said Unitarian Universalism is the instructions of how to be religious, but it doesn't tell us what to think. That's a good explanation for other people you know. It's not pick whatever you want and do whatever you want, because that's a myth. And also, when we are thinking about the principles and we have the tools to go up this developmental ladder with our sources and our principles and attending Sunday service, which is another factor in success, is religious context. During the part of the long time ago, I can't remember, when there were a lot of utopian societies, somebody probably knows the date range, there was a lot of socialism bubbling up, there were a lot of utopian societies forming. Many were secular and many were religious. And at the end of 10 years, most of the secular ones were gone. Something about the context of rules with some kind of spiritual reward appeals to people. And even though that sounds a little blah, blah, blah and heady, that is probably why you're here. You need some context for understanding the way you understand. Another thing that happens to us thinkers who wind up in religion is we say something when we get here like, oh, I believed this all along. Who did that happen to? Because I know it happened to me. We also have a tendency to think that certain groups don't both belong in the same room. Well, if you're Christian, there's all those Christian churches down the street. Why aren't you there? If you're atheist, why did you come to church? Right? Both of those things happen in this place. Both of us exclude each other a little bit. We can get a little bit feisty when it comes to our theologies or our lack thereof. When the reason we're really here is the thinking tools we're giving, and it doesn't matter what we believe at the end of the day. What matters is our principles and our beliefs, and what we're doing here, and I say this a lot too, is we're practicing those 7 principles together so we can go outside and not be such big jerks in the world, because the world is hard to be in, right? Okay. Also, we are a secular religion. Ooh, that doesn't even sound like a sentence. We are a secular faith, secular religion. Secular faith refers to the belief or conviction that is not based on religion or the supernatural doctrine. I said it again. Secular. Faith can arise from the wide range of sources and can take many forms depending on the individual's beliefs and experience, including philosophy, science, on and on. I am never saying secular again. Why is this important to you? But first, what bothers you about this? I'm really curious. We don't do a lot of talk back, but I want to take a minute. What about maybe these stages or this picks at you a little bit? What are you questioning? Anybody have anything? Oh, let me get a microphone because I'm going to walk around. We're getting Bob Barker again. Door number 1. Where are you from? What's your name?
Hey, Amy. This one in particular is a little bit hard for me because I spent so long justifying to people and explaining to people, no, I am part of organized religion.
Right.
I have an organized religion. So the word secular kind of has that negative connotation, even though I agree with that statement.
Right.
And I need to work on that. It just makes me go, like, I've worked so hard to help people understand, no, I do have a faith.
Yes. Valid. Oh, I just walked in. Who else?
Right here.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so secular implies atheism, and I think we need to dispel that myth about Unitarianism.
But I love being atheist. I do too.
I think by the name of our organization, Unitarian Universalist Church of Chattanooga, the word church has that connotation of a religion, and in this town it means Christian and myopic.
There's somebody behind you.
For me, yes, I take a lot of things from philosophy and science, but there's also mystery. And I think that the secular, on top of the faith, kind of devalues that, maybe?
Thank you.
Devalues the awe.
Devalues the awe and wonder.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Anybody else? Oh. Burning thoughts, questions? Brianne got us right where we needed to go. So, yay. We get in that sticky place of, are we a religion or are we a church? What are we? We're a church, and one of the reasons that our founders named this place church had to do with specifically being in the South and wanting their children to have an answer to the question, where do you go to church? So that is part of the history of this space and why we use the word church. Who knew that? A couple people. You probably told me, Bill. So that's part of our history. There's also a history. Here we're getting into that exclusion thing again. Like, religious words belong to this side and secular words belong to this side. So I think secular might not be the right word, and I really don't want to say it ever again. So I think you're onto something. Secular's not quite right. We're not quite that. Who studies science? A lot of people study science. Who here gets an exact answer from the scientific process?
Get a temporary answer.
A temporary answer, right? A snapshot. Hypothesis. But when someone has faith in something that they don't have all the answers for, it's supernatural BS sometimes, right? Fundamental belief and attachment to any certain answer is a problem. It will block you from developing your faith further. May it be so, and blessed be. And now it's time for something a little different. You have a mic right. Oh, I had them everywhere. Thank you. Bill Dornbush, everyone! Yay! Go back here so that's not my eyes.
Snow days. What do snow days have to do with food and food insecurity? There was an article in the Times Free Press yesterday that talked about this issue. And what it talked about was what happens when you have a snow day from school. When I used to have a snow day from school, I went sledding. We had this great toboggan run in the back of our property, and we would go down the slope. And of course, a few snowball fights, right? But what about the kids who skipped school because the school was closed and they didn't get breakfast or lunch? That's what happened in Chattanooga to the estimate is somewhere between 10 and 20,000 kids that didn't get breakfast and lunch when the schools closed. That's pretty stunning to me. The schools have not offered food since January 11th to those kids. Hopefully they'll get it tomorrow, but that's a long time for a kid to not have breakfast and lunch. Fortunately, the food pantry, or the food bank opened. They were closed Monday because they just couldn't get there. Tuesday, half of them could get there, and they opened their doors. And at the food bank offices, 150 families got food that day. What do we do about food security? I had a friend many years ago, his name was Arnie Dahm, and I'll never forget the discussion I had with him. And what he said was, if you're confronted with a problem that is so big, you don't know how to wrap your arms around it, don't try to. Just wrap your arms around a little piece of it and go after that little piece. So that's what I'm asking you to consider. We're going to be having a food drive here again, as we have every month. This month, we're going to try to help restock the pantry at the food bank. Yeah. We have paper bags for all of you, for every family that has a little sticker on it that tells you, I didn't bring a bag with me. I should have brought a bag up here. It has a sticker that tells you what they are looking for, you know, peanut butter and stuff like that. And if you could take a bag with you today and bring it back next week full of groceries for those people who can't go and spend $750. The number really just gets me. Oh, there's a bag. Thank you. These are the bags we have for you. Last year we did this, and we handed out some bags, and someone said, oh, I have a whole bunch of bags in my car. Can you take them? Sure, and here they are. So here's a couple of them, and that little sticker there to tell you most needed items: peanut butter, canned fruit, soup, mixed vegetables, and protein. But you can put anything in the bag. Anything that, you, of course. Pantry items, non-breakable. Don't put zucchini in there. That'll spoil before they get it distributed. You don't know, yeah. We'll take it. You take it? Oh, okay. I used to live in a neighborhood where everybody was a gardener and they all raised zucchini. You didn't dare open your door if someone rang the bell because they'd be trying to give you some zucchini. We're not going to do that. But anything you can help with would be greatly appreciated. Last year, on January 29th, 2023, we donated 584 pounds of food to the food pantry. That's great. Let's see if we can do better next year. This year. One of those years.
Next week. Next week.
Do we have a video?
I'm a single mom. My company laid off a bunch of people, including me. When I lost my job, I didn't have enough money to pay the bills and buy groceries.
I don't have a home. I've been out here a long time, and most days, I don't know where my next meal is coming from.
My wife and I were both diagnosed with cancer, so it's pretty much impossible for us to work. And since we can't work, it's really hard for us to put food on the table.
The Chattanooga Area Food Bank distributes nourishing groceries to over 250 locations in its 20-county service area. Foxwood was designed to serve 1,700 households per month, but due to the rising cost of food and housing, we've seen this number continue to rise, and there are many more people that need our help. We're serving families who've never needed assistance before because they simply cannot afford groceries. These faces of hunger can be anyone, even those you might not expect. Those who served our country but now find themselves with no food to serve themselves. Those on Social Security who worked their whole lives but now only receive a few dollars a month in food stamps since they've retired. Those who earn too much for public assistance but not enough to feed their families. At the Chattanooga Area Food Bank, we believe that food is a basic human right and that no one should go hungry, that all people are worthy of dignity, compassion, and respect. We believe that providing fair access to quality food strengthens our community and fosters hope. And Foxwood exemplifies this mission. In partnership with United Way, our neighbors can be served every 30 days. When a guest comes to Foxwood, they're greeted at the door and paired with a volunteer personal shopper who guides them through the pantry and lets them choose whatever they want from a variety of meats, dairy items, baked goods, breakfast cereals, snacks, and personal items. They also leave with a box of non-perishable foods and a box of produce. But while Foxwood serves thousands of households each month, there are still so many more that need our help. Will you help us fill the gap? Foxwood relies on the commitment of volunteers to fill over 400 shifts per month in our fight against hunger. Would you consider giving the gift of your time? Another way you can help is to make a financial contribution. $1 can provide enough groceries for 3 meals for those who need them most. A monthly gift of $100 can help feed up to 4 families. Your financial donation will provide crucial support to our children and older neighbors and help keep families together. Would you consider making an investment in our mission? With your help, we can serve hope and end hunger for every person in our region today and tomorrow.
I'd like to introduce now Summer Simmons from the Food Bank. She's lived in Chattanooga for about 13 years. Her husband, Michael, and she have 4 children and live on a small farm in Sail Creek. She spent most of her career in child and mental health advocacy. She worked with foster children and other vulnerable populations for 17 years, serving as a case manager, therapist, and advocate, and eventually as an executive director for a therapeutic foster care mental health facility in the Chattanooga area. That's really great. She began a new chapter in April of 2023 as the Chief Development Officer for the Chattanooga Area Food Bank. She's passionate about meeting people where they are and empowering them with the tools and support they need to improve their quality of life. She believes that it is a basic human right to have access to healthy food and that no one should go hungry. She is incredibly grateful to serve the community of Chattanooga, along with all of the amazing folks like yourselves who help us continue and further our mission each and every day. Summer?
Good morning. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me today. This has been a wonderful experience. I am certainly not a professional public speaker. I am very passionate about what we do here at the food bank, but it's a little hard for me to sometimes put into context what to share about our story, you know, in 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because there's just so much to share. This video, I was a part of making this video earlier this year, and a fun fact to share with you all, the Foxwood Food Center was originally designed to serve 1,700 families a month. Last month, we served 4,000. Wow. Yeah. So the food bank, I consider us to be first responders. When there's an issue in our community, in our society, we try to pivot, we try to get flexible, we try to leverage our ability to reach the needs of the families that may be at risk for hunger or loss of housing, or they're in need of resources. During COVID, we saw a new need in our community. Lots of people were out of work, people couldn't get out of their home. So we saw a great need in the amount of food that we needed to distribute. A lot of government support came in, a lot of community support came in, and we went from distributing 14 million pounds of food per year to 17 during 2020. So that was a very big increase. COVID ended, and we thought, yay, things are going to get back to normal. things are going to get better. And in our trajectories, we said, oh, well, you know, it's 2023, 2024 is coming up. We're not going to need to plan on that level of distribution because people are going back to work and the world's going to get normal again. But it hasn't. The world is very far from what life looked like in 2019, 2018. What we see today is, you know, just the change in our climate as a society. Not only are groceries higher, housing, lack of housing, childcare cost. There's nothing is the same as far as the market goes where our dollars are being spent. So we had to realign our priorities and our planning, and now we are looking at distributing 21 million pounds of food this year. I'm very blessed, very grateful that we have the ability and the community support of partners like you all that are helping us reach that goal and reach that need and serve those families. But it's one of those things where when will we get back to a place of leverage and equality where we don't have so many working individuals, hardworking individuals that just can't make ends meet? Single parents who are teachers, retired folks that have spent their lifetime working and, you know, the dollars coming in from Social Security are just not enough. One thing I like to share about that video is the family up there, they were talking about having cancer and putting them out of the workforce. That gentleman was an employee of our food bank. He works in our warehouse. His name was James, and he is more than okay and happy for me sharing his story. James came and worked at the food bank and greeted every volunteer that came in, just a joy to have. And he worked while his wife was battling cancer, and he was the primary income coming into the home. And then James got cancer, and he can no longer work. So now he relies on the food bank to help he and his wife fill in the gap. Because we're just seeing that the services offered, as far as SNAP or government programs such as WIC, it's just not enough. So we're seeing faces that we've never, ever seen before. But the good news is, because of partners like you all, so many in this community that step up and they want to help us and they want to be a part of what we're doing. And that's the beauty of living in Chattanooga. We are a city of philanthropy. We are a city of hope. So just thank you all so much. I'm here. I'm happy to answer any questions. Our door is wide open if you'd ever like to come volunteer or host a food drive or just come over and take a tour to see what we do. You're always welcome to reach out to me and we can make that happen. Thank you all so much for having me here today.
I just want to remind everyone that our offering in its entirety goes to the Chattanooga Area Food Bank. And I also want to remind you that $1, how many meals? 3 meals with $1. So any amount that you can give today for this will help someone. The offering will be gratefully received. want to do this. I'm sorry. I felt like I was listening to a music box, and I kept wanting to. So thank you so much for that. Please join me in our offertory response. We give these gifts freely, committed to our mission to care, create beloved community, awaken hearts and minds, resist injustice and act with compassion, embrace life and care for the earth. To this work, we dedicate our offerings. Okay, now if you remember what I have said about this song before, which is this is our rally cry. This is a song of justice. This is a song of doing something, not just sitting there. I love the metaphor of letting your light shine. I think it's so good for us. So, please rise in body and or spirit or all the things and join us in this little light of mine. Sometimes it shines. Sometimes we run out of batteries. It's okay. It's okay. So what? So what? So what? So I want you to be curious about what you believe and why. I don't want you to corner yourself in the trap of enlightenment or superior belief, because it is so tempting to think we know best. What's important is we are sharing tools with each other of how to go on this journey of growing faith together, and that might mean just growing one relationship in this building. This is a place of love that is centered on justice. This is a place that is a faith community, that is spiritual, that is sacred. And that is so what? Want to come join me? Let's extinguish this chalice together. We extinguish this flame that keeps the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world. It's announcement time. I think there might be some. Somebody might be wearing leaves on their head. Are you coming up? Yeah, okay, I'll get out of the way.
Hello, wonderful UUCC community.
Who are you?
My name is Chen. My pronouns are he, him, and I am making an announcement on behalf of our auction committee. Have you saved the date for our UUCC annual auction? Yes, February 24th. Don't forget. I wanted to give a quick plug and let people know that we are still taking donations. So I hope you've had a chance to think about what you can bring and offer for people to bid on for our auction. If you are wondering about what some ideas might be for auction items to donate, I have a list, and I'll read a few of them. There are 40 items on here, but I won't bore you with all of them. Perhaps you could make a meal and bring it to somebody's house. Perhaps you can offer tickets to a movie or a show or a symphony. Maybe you can help them get a ride to someplace, like the airport, perhaps, for somebody who's traveling. Maybe you have a talent and you could offer a class, or a basket of goods that you can bring and auction here. There are over 40 different items. Actually, one other plug: you could potentially have a dinner party at your house and host people. There are over 40 ideas for you to think about. I have donation sheets available on me. Please come and see me. Or Terry with the grape leaves on her head as well, who has more information. Does anybody have any questions about the auction?
What time is it going to be on the 24th?
It is slated to start at 6:30 p.m. It's a Saturday. There will be food and drinks available. And as well, childcare is available downstairs. So if you have young children, please feel free to bring them. There will be activities for them as well.
They have their own auction. Oh, they do. They do have their own auction.
They have their own auction.
When
Thanks.
can you start getting tickets?
Tickets are, well, Terry, do you have any?
I will take your money today.
We will take your money today.
$15 in advance or $20 at the door. What that gets you, besides the fun, is a splendid meal, live entertainment, and just a whole evening of fun. What was that date again?
Repeat that on the mic.
Yes. That's February 24th. Tickets are $15 in advance, $20 at the door. And we will have beverages for your enjoyment available at a cash bar. And also, I encourage you to bring cash or check because that will save us 3% for processing credit card fees. Of course, we will also have credit card available for your convenience. But if you do have cash or check, please bring them for the evening. We'll make more announcements about it, so you won't forget it.
I just wanted to say if anybody is wanting to come who might find ticket costs inhibitive, come see the minister.
Judy Gallagher, her member of the board, and also a member of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense. Many of you know that. I'm just wanting to, if you didn't see it in the newsletter, there's also out there, or come see me if you want to know more about this. There will be an Advocacy Day in Nashville on February 27th. The church, UUCC, is part of a coalition of over 40 organizations across the state that are participating and supporting this advocacy effort to continue to work with our legislators to try to bring gun sense laws to our state. There will be a bus going from Chattanooga. It'll be an all-day kind of an affair, so it'll be free for you to ride the bus. And the link to sign up is in this week's newsletter and will be for the next couple of weeks. If you want to come and join us, just note that you're part of UUCC, and you'll get more information. So I hope to see a lot of you able to join us on February 27th. It's a Tuesday or Wednesday, I forget, but it has February 27th. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. As you see, kind of with the announcement this week is again that I see you 3 times this coming week, every one of you. First on Monday, yoga again here in the fellowship area. Last time 15 of us were there from all groups of ages and all type of skill levels. Please join us. Yoga, it's free. Wednesday, a potluck at 6 p.m. Again, bring in your food. Free again. There's a certain pattern there. Next Sunday at 9:30, we have the forum, our discussion group that we started out with. This time we're going to reflect on an article from the New York Times, How to Stay Sane in Brutalizing Times, an article by David Brooks that we're going to reflect. We're really looking forward to your guys' feedback. We had once again kind of a great crowd 2 weeks ago. I'm looking forward to see you guys 3 times, as you have no more excuse with cold weather.
My final announcement is I just really like to draw everyone's attention to the events board at the when you're walking in, and I want to thank Jen for putting that together for us. There's some opportunities to get involved around here, get engaged, and see Christian every day of the week. So our service here has ended. Oh, you got another one? Lunch and Learn. If you would like to stay after and talk more to Summer from the food bank and learn more and ask your questions, we're going to hang out. I'm going to give people 10 minutes to grab coffee. We're going to have a 30-minute discussion back in this room. Next month, the Lunch and Learns are posted on the event board, I think, are they? Yay! So at the first of the month, we're doing like soup potluck, so bring some soup or salad. The middle of the month, you're supposed to bring your own lunch. If you didn't do that, there's some snacks out there. So please join us for further continued conversation. And thank you to all the people who have icicle children downstairs. You can go get them. And our service has ended, but our service to the world has only just begun.